then am fired not for what I said, but for what they assumed that I meant, and for trolls that I didn't respond to. And I want to be clear, you can fire whoever you want. You really can if you're a business owner. It's just that this was atypical in the fashion that it was done, right? It wasn't done in the way where you just say, okay, get out of here, it's not working. Instead, what they decided to do was humiliate me in front of all of the other employees by, rather than having a conversation, sort of dramatically having me exit after doing my show, not knowing that I was going to be fired. And then they had put together a stage in my studio and put up clips put together basically a whole package, like almost like a high school play, and conducted what I honestly, when I look back, because it recently leaked what happened at this quote unquote town hall, this is a slave hanging. This is a slave hanging, right? Gather around, everybody else is a slave. And let me tell you how this one messed up. Gather around and watch us whip this person. This is literally how I feel when I watch this, okay? And you'll know what not to do next. And here is a video of the then CEO, Jeremy Boring, which somehow Steven Crowder got a hold of this week or last week or whatever. This is just a portion of it. You should watch the entire thing because it really is something. And ask yourself in your memory, do you ever recall anybody ever being fired where 300 employees, Ben joined electronically, he was up on the screen too, and just enjoyed watching me be humiliated, where 300 employees are invited down and shown a production of what this person did wrong? Okay, well, let's watch a little bit of this video.
Candace made no statement at all in the days after Hamas terrorists raped, murdered, and tortured over 1,000 Israeli civilians, mostly Jews, some Americans. And then they took hundreds more hostages.
Yeah, that was the weird thing about it. It's like Candace Owens could not have an opinion. That was a weird thing. If she had an opinion on it, like I said, her bosses came down. Ben Shapiro came down on her. And what was it? I think her channel actually got suspended for a little bit. Well, not suspended, but demonetized. And, well, no, she got a strike. And here's the thing. Oh, here's the thing about it. When you get a strike on Daily Wire, you actually got to pay them for that strike. Like, so, yeah. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy how they came down her, not only about, you know, what was going on in Gaza or Israel, but they also came down on her about receiving a strike for, well, talking about that as well. And the thing is, though, she wasn't really talking about it too heavily. I think she kind of related it around to, like, what was it? Man, because she got suspended for one, what you talking about with Israel and Gaza, allegedly. And then she got also suspended for talking about, well, or he got a strike for talking about trans people a little bit too recklessly.
But then on October 28th of 2023, while anti-Israel protests were raging in London, where Candace, I believe, was.
But all right, though, I went ahead and did some research because I guess this is the next new thing about Candace. All right, here. So let's look up this whole, what was it? Somebody tried to expose Candace for talking about Egyptians' planes leaving from out of what? Her lawyer's address. All right, so you know that, what was it? The one Rodney Squared. And this is what my man Saline was talking about. This is what it was. Did you see Candace getting trolled for the building thing? Yeah, and wrongfully so, because if you actually look up the building, it was 1 Rodney Square, 920 North King Street, Wilmington, Delaware, right? 1981. Well, not 1981, but 19801, FBI. So yes, 1 Rodney Square at 920 North King Street in Wilmington, Delaware is a prominent office building housing various entities. Notable, the prominent Delaware lawyer firm Richards, Layton, and Finger, which serves as a legal counsel for figures like, yeah, you're right, Candace Owens. And yes, it is also contains offices for federal agents, including the FBI, serving as a key location for law enforcement in Delaware. So yeah, when they said the Egyptian planes were leaving out of Candace Owens's lawyer's office, yeah, you know, it's also strange. It also contains offices for federal agent, including the FBI. So yeah, that's why, you know, trolling Candace about the buildings probably wasn't the best thing and kind of proved their point even more.
At the time, she reposted a video of the protests on X, commenting, quote, "Interesting thing happening here. People are not accepting the media narrative about what's happening in the Middle East, despite the insistent rhetoric from government officials."
I mean, because there's thing called TikTok and X that are showing videos about the bombings that are happening in Gaza, how they're killing innocent women and children. I mean, bro, I was watching innocent women get shot on camera by the IDF. You can't tell me anything else after that. And as I scrub the internet trying to search for just one example of an Hamas guy using an Israeli as a human shield, or even using their own as a human shield, I just found more images of, well, innocent Palestinians getting put under rubble, getting blown to bits. Like, that's it. So I'm sorry that we couldn't believe the government officials. I'm sorry we couldn't believe what they were saying and not showing us. But what, we're wrong to believe the videos that we're seeing online? That's where they lost a lot of people with this whole, oh, Israel's the most just army in the world. What you mean? Everything's all right. We're killing them in a proportionate number. When they're actually killing more civilians than Hamas. It was actually released by Israeli sources that they've, like, what was it, back in May of 2025, they've killed more civilians than Hamas. Yeah.
On November 3rd, she posted, quote, "No
Well, we're just supposed to ignore all that and just root for Israel, though.
government anywhere has a right to commit a genocide ever. There is no justification for a genocide. I can't believe this even needs to be said or is even considered the least bit controversial to state." There was only one country on earth being accused of genocide at the time. Anti-Semites on X took to it immediately. They cheered at what they rightly or wrongly interpreted as Candace smearing Israel. And Candace didn't rebuff their interpretation. So when Dave Rubin came to the exact same conclusion as the anti-Semites, only instead of cheering for Candace, found it vile and rebuked her, Candace quickly attacked, saying, quote, "What's amazing about this is that I didn't name any country in this tweet. I simply stated that genocide is wrong always. This is not a controversial stance. Interesting how you interpreted it." And then followed up with, quote, "In short, if the blanket statement that genocide is wrong upsets you in any way, then you need to check yourself. I said exactly what I meant, and I won't be backing down or apologizing or further clarifying this statement." Within 24 hours, Candace liked a post calling Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu a war criminal.
Because he is.
Now, let's be clear. You're free to disagree with Israel's conduct, and you're free to oppose the Netanyahu government. But the idea that Israel is committing genocide or that Netanyahu is a war criminal is just factually baseless.
Bro, so how can you sit there and say you're free to criticize them, but when you're free to criticize any country and any government, but she criticized a country and a government, you guys are losing y'all shit. Do you understand how crazy you guys sound? Like, you literally went against everything you just said. Oh my goodness. And then here's the thing, y'all never proved that it was baseless. None of it. If anything was baseless, was the 40 beheaded babies. If anything was baseless, was the lies that was coming out of Israel. That's the only thing that was baseless.
Unfortunately, Candace routinely makes insinuations about Jews.
And they wonder why they're losing the argument. It's like, you guys are being delusional. And shout out to my man Chad. Cover John Polaroid at some point. He is an Israeli spy who did 30 years in jail for selling our secrets to Russia. Dang, he said treat US with nukes if we cut them, threaten US with nukes if we cut them off. I mean, bro, we did that in Iran. Yes, Israel threatened to bomb Tehran. Oh yeah, we're having one of those moments. Israel threatened to bomb Tehran if we didn't go ahead and bomb Mount Fordow for them. They've done it before. They did it with Nixon. Yes, they threatened. Who are they? They were threatening to use nukes if Nixon didn't get involved. They threatened to use nukes if Trump didn't get involved. So anytime Israel's losing, they threaten to use nukes. This is why we don't want random country just having nukes and not having them being reported, because they can do bullshit like Israel can by holding us, well, with, I'm gonna be real with you, nuclear blackmail.
That both lovers of anti-Semitism and haters of anti-Semitism both agree is anti-Semitic. And in almost every one of these instances, Candace says nothing to the anti-Semites who cheer her and only pushes back against those who disapprove of her comments. On February 28th of this year, Candace, just asking questions, posted, quote, "Time."
Oh, and shout out IB Wyland for sending in 100 for 2 jewels, and shout out my man Chad. Hey, he sent multiple 100, sent about 7 of them. Appreciate it.
To look into the history and profiteering of pornography. Her replies were immediately flooded with anti-Semites cheering her for the question and providing the answer that they interpreted her to mean, the Jews. Once again, Candace did nothing to disabuse the anti-Semites of their assumption. But when Anthony Koch came to the exact same conclusion, Candace pushed back saying, quote, "This is utterly insane. I tweeted that porn is harming men in our society, and this person has interpreted that as an attack on Jews. This is an example of clinical insanity. There is no other explanation."
What? Nah, y'all about to hit it with the Michael Jackson. So when Michael Jackson start releasing the name of music executives that he don't like, that he says are distrustful, and they just happen to all be Jews, oh, he's insane now. Wacko Jacko. Oh my God. How could he ever say that about Jews? He's crazy. Why they gotta do that every single time? And they only do it for this group. I'm gonna be real with you, and I'm not a Jew hater. Trust me, I love Jewish people. But the problem with that is pretty much saying that you can't criticize them without being called crazy. You can't criticize their heavy influence in the music industry. You can't criticize their heavy influences in other industries, especially Hollywood, or you are crazy. Like, what? What about the crazy influence in our government? Set, you're acting crazy now. I'm just asking reasonable questions that are right in my fucking face. Like, what? You're not going to sit here and pretend like AIPAC isn't paying half of our Congress. We're not going to sit here and pretend like most of our Congress and senators are out there rooting for Israel, signing for these guys to drop more bombs on Palestinians. You can't sit there and say that's not happening. I'm seeing it. I see the paperwork. They're literally signing it over for them. Don't tell me I'm crazy. But all right.
I stand by all of those tweets. Pornography is harming men. We should look into who profits off of pornography. Genocide is always wrong.
Oh, yeah. Look into all the pornography businesses. I mean, look at what was it? Fan Geek or whatever they call that wild stuff. Oh, look, I ain't into the porn industry like that. I don't want to be. But yes, look, who owned all the top porn industries? PBD had one. I think the guy who owned Pornhub. Who was he? I mean, what do I need to start playing the Jewish music all of a sudden? Like, do I need to start going that far? And like I said, this is not me bashing Jews. The problem is that when you sit there, you start calling people crazy because they start pointing out a group of people just so happen to be Jewish. I mean, you're gonna create that anti-Semitism. Instead, the Jewish community should be like, oh yeah, all right, you're right. We do got some crazy executives. We're gonna take care of that. Who's giving black artists and white artists bullshit contract deals that just feeds off them. It's like, yeah, us as a community should stop that. We should be able to hone down on that, not call people crazy for pointing it out.
No matter.
I mean, bro, can you imagine if us black people, every time you called out gang violence and shootings and any type of crime that heavily involved black people, we just called you crazy? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine getting that type of protection? Black people, like, really think about it. Anytime they bring up anything bad about us, you're crazy, you're insane, you need to go to the hospital, and people literally back us up on it. Bro, who could judge us? You're like, try us. You're gonna go right to the sane asylum. Like, man, I wish everybody had that protection. But shout out Tove. Need to play what guests and gamers said on it. Gotcha.
Which country calls for it, whatever. What was controversial about anything that I say? Now, I'm again wanting you to, these are my crimes. Just imagine 300 people being brought and said, like, she said this, and this is what we know. And then he goes into a diatribe about the real meaning of Christ is King, and he shows videos of Nick Fuentes, which had nothing to do with me. I had never even spoken. I think only one time I'd spoken ever to Nick Fuentes, and it was pertaining to Kanye. Yeah, that was it. But I'm showing you this because it's important for you to understand that this has never stopped. I want you to imagine if you view yourself to be a slave owner, and that slave not only survives like this public whipping, but that escapes and becomes successful. That's pretty much my relationship with Ben Shapiro since he's fired me, because they have not stopped. They have not stopped. I am talking about people working behind the scenes to call advertisers, attempting to bankrupt me in courts, sending undercover interns to stalk me. He has issued thus far 3 court proceedings, okay, for every solitary petty infraction against things that I say. He's worked with Barry Weiss behind the scenes to have articles written about me. It is nonstop. I refer to this, just to be clear, as legal abuse. It's legal abuse. And I have put up with a lot of it. I have put up with the pettiness of even suing me because I interviewed a USS Liberty survivor who mentioned your name as you pretend that you care about free speech and debate. I've put up with a lot of it, but today I draw the line. I draw the line with this miserable imp when it comes to Charlie Kirk. Okay? Don't try me on this, but you keep trying me on this. You are an imposter, Ben. You're an imposter. You pay to pretend that you're friends, that you have a right to be on that stage because you get donors to pressure people, because you know Jewish people who can threaten to take money, where you say, I'm going to do an advertising spend. Here's $1 million. I'm sorry, you're dead. The entire
Oh wow, accusing Ben Shapiro of having to pay money to just be at TPUSA event because, well, is anybody really watching Ben Shapiro like that anymore? No, not really. And TPUSA want to bring people who's getting those numbers, like Tucker Carlson. I mean, shoot, admittedly, what is it, Brandon Tatum, and of course people like Candace Owens. But the Jewish donors want to hop down on that for some reason. And if you're Jewish watching this, look, bro, I'm not going against y'all or anything, any way, shape, or form. I'm just calling out hypocrisy, okay? So work with me.
World knows that you are an imposter. I mean, you're so much of a fraud that essentially what you do is you have people send around clips to grown men to cheer you on, to pretend like the audiences love you. You staff audiences with people that work for YAF who are told to explode into cheers when you hit the stage because you don't have the confidence anymore to go out into the world because people see you for what you are. And so exactly what he did yesterday. We can now listen to what this imposter said as he hit the stage. Charlie Kirk's organization, the one that he built for debate, if you have a disagreement, and he instructs people here in this speech, go after me and Tucker Carlson, right? That's what he's going to do. He wants us deplatformed. So he's going to attack me, he's going to attack Tucker Carlson, and he's going to attack Megyn Kelly because she's at the beginning of what these people have put me and Tucker and Charlie Kirk
got to
through.
do with it.
Take a listen to a portion of what Ben had to say.
So, if Candace Owens decides to spend every day since the murder of Charlie Kirk casting aspersions at TPUSA and the people who work here, who worked with Charlie every single day, his best friends, to cast
because they were lying. Maybe they remember things wrong. I'm not going to go with straight duplicitous intent, but maybe they were misinformed and, they were caught being incorrect about certain things that happened around Charlie Kirk's death. That's suspicious. I mean, these are supposed to be his best friends, but they're not being, I guess, thorough with the investigation into Charlie Kirk. Why is Candace got to do it? Why not Erica? And I know I was making this argument, I believe, like last night. Well, my bad, about 2 days ago, when I'm like, all right, well, why is Candace riding so hard for Charlie Kirk? Why isn't Erica Kirk going twice as hard? Because let's be real. Don't tell me that, we're all seeing these shooting videos. We're all hearing the story. We're all going like, oh yeah, this makes sense. No, nobody's doing that. So it's kind of weird for Erica Kirk just to go along with it. And then when they meet up with Candace, they prove that they don't got anything for real. They don't got no extra evidence. They don't got nothing that the public hasn't already seen. But then they're over there sitting behind their desk talking about how Candace is a liar. It's like, bro, what the F are you talking about? She's showing more than you guys are. She's going as hard for Charlie Kirk as you guys were. And that was supposed to be y'all main man. But it is what it is.
Versions at Mikey McCoy and Andrew Colvin and Blake Neff and Tyler Boyer and yes, at Erica Kirk.
Oh, and shout out to my man JB too. He sent in what is it? Oh, he sent in 100 for 2 joules. Appreciate the support, my friend. Just caught it. Shout out to my man Josh. Appreciate you, my man.
And to imply or outright claim complicity in a cover-up over Charlie's murder, to spew absolutely baseless trash implicating everyone from French intelligence to Mossad to members of TPUSA in Charlie's murder or a cover-up in that murder, then we, as people with a microphone, have a moral obligation to call that out by name. So no, Tucker Carlson, it is not an excuse to go silent on Candace's targeting of TPUSA.
Somebody said Kenny's only making 2,000. Boy, she making more. Only 2,000. You know how much money you get for 2 million views? Plus the super chats that she get. The super chats are probably 2,000. Candace probably making at least like 10,000, maybe 10 to 14,000 per episode as of lately. Man, what you mean, man? You gotta speak, man. Look, man, if you want to talk about big Candace, man, you gotta get your numbers right because she's right now making that money, and that's what people is mad about. But I'm just like, all right, well, why don't you speak on it? Why don't you speak on all the inconsistencies in Charlie Kirk's murder? And then you'll get the same views as Candace. You'll get the same support as Candace. But sadly, Turning Point or the Charlie Kirk show is losing viewership to people like Candace because they're not being real about what's going on or not going as hard as on it. They're just telling everybody to believe the Fed slop and just have a good day and let's talk about politics. And people are not trying to hear that. Be real with you. That's why Candace is getting 100K plus viewers a show. Like, that's impressive. 100K viewers, live viewers a show. That's really hard to pull off.
Or to mirror her bullshit lines of questioning because you love Candace personally. The same holds true of Megyn Kelly, a person I consider a friend.
Somebody said 200. Oh, he said 200,000. All right, then you definitely got to water that one down. Then hold on. Now I thought you said 2,000. He said 200,000. My bad. Well, then you definitely got to water that down because she is probably making at least 14 to maybe 20K an episode at this point.
Characterizing Candace.
Well, and then if you want to include her little book thing, she got a little Candace Club. I think she got a locals membership and all that good stuff. Who knows? But I could see Candace pulling anywhere between like 100K a month.
As a young,
anywhere from 80 to 100K. Big Candace, big balling
mother, and thus shying away from condemning her actions or fibbing about them. That is a non-starter. When Candace Owens says, I don't know, but I know, that is retarded. And we are all more retarded for having heard it.
Wow.
Well, Ben, when it comes to you and having worked with you, I just know the tactics that you use to feign popularity in the public. I just know the amount of money that you are willing to spend on advertising to inflate your numbers to make people think that you're popular.
Damn.
So, yeah, I don't have to say we don't know when it comes to you. You are such a joke of a little man. Your jealousy against Tucker, your ability to believe that you can keep manipulating the markets. Those kids booed you on that stage.
And let's be real, guys. Candace, she been popping before this whole Charlie Kirk fiasco. We go to Candace Owens' most popular video. Really? One of her most popular videos was the U.S. Liberty Survivor speaking out. And then what was this? Former CIA officer exposes the shadow government. And then, of course, I spoke with Kamala's uncle. Remember the Kamala series? You can't say she wasn't cooking the Kamala series. That was going crazy. So Candace has been, doing her thing for a minute now. So to sit here and just say, oh, it's all because of Charlie Kirk wouldn't really be honest. Now let's go to her lives. I'm pretty sure she did pretty well in the Charlie Kirk lives. I'm almost sure. Let's go to the popularity. Here it is. Oh, yep. They're lying about Charlie Kirk to my friend Charlie Kirk. And then third one, becoming Brigitte Macron. And then, of course, she's been kind of blowing up. But let's be real. Becoming Brigitte Macron, as you see, is kind of spread out. Not everything has involved Charlie Kirk. But let's be real. These are her most recent releases. But Candace has been doing millions of views before Charlie Kirk. Before. As we've seen, she stays in the 2 millions before Charlie Kirk. So if we want to sit here and say that she got famous off Charlie Kirk's death, that is incorrect.
The amount of messages I got from Turning Point USA people saying, what is happening? Why is he on this stage standing against everything that Charlie believed in? That's what you're doing. You're standing against everything that Charlie believed in because you weren't his friend. He didn't like you for that very reason. I look at you and I just think you are such a little worm. I could see you right now, probably. What can we get out to her? We're going to sue her into bankruptcy again, right? Sue her for every infraction, every word that I don't like, and every time my feelings are hurt. Because what you really believe in is Baal Berith. That's what your people believe in. You believe that you are contract lords.
Oh, hold on.
And that people are not allowed to violate contracts or you will ruin them for years. Bruh. You fire someone and you effectively stalk and harass them for years after. I'm here to let you know that I'm done with it. I am done with it. This one is so fully off of the mother effing plantation. Truly, Ben Shapiro, fuck you and the midget horse that you rode in on. And I say that on behalf.
I'm sorry, I got to go back on that because Hey, yo. Not Candace dropping the F-bomb of all people.
This one is so fully off of the mother effing plantation. Truly, Ben Shapiro, fuck you and the midget horse that you rode in on. And I say that on behalf of the world. I know you're going to get applauded by Konstantin Kisin and Andrew Christ is King Clavin and all of the people, the men who have to keep applauding what you do like you're a 4-year-old to make you feel good. But the rest of the world can't stand you.
No, fact.
You're obnoxious. You have absolutely no values that exist outside of the Talmud. You describe yourself as a Talmudic Jew. And I've learned what's in that Talmud. And
hold on, he is? Oh, bro, please don't say that, Ben Shapiro. Trust me, that is not a good thing. I mean, look, there are Jewish people that will sit there and they'll explain the Talmud as an argument between rabbis and all that good stuff, which it is. It is. But to sit there and say you're a Talmudic Jew, I mean, I don't think that's the best thing to say. Because if you actually look what's in the Talmud, it doesn't speak too lightly of people who are, well, non-Jews.
Encourage other people at home to learn what is in that Talmud so that you know what Ben thinks of you, because he doesn't just hate me, he hates you too, white men. He hates all black people, okay? If he's following the rules of the Talmud, I mean, when I say hates, they think that we're animals, that they have a right to own us.
And they also talk about, you know how they talk about, Muhammad and the 9-year-old girl? You won't believe what they talking about in the Talmud, man. They talking about ages at 3 years old. At 3 years old, you can do something to somebody, do a sexual action. And these are what old rabbis were talking about back in the day. So let's not forget what the Talmud says on what you could do to a 3-year-old girl or a 3-year-old goy. Before let's not talk about that. And let's be real, if we're not allowed to talk about that, you don't want to talk about that, you have no business bringing up, Muhammad and Aisha or his second wife or something like that. All right. Let's just say fair is fair. Okay.
They have a right to make us worship them, that they have a right to lie to us, that they have a right to sue us and take everything that we have, that they have a right to deceive us, that they have a right to treat Charlie the way that—
Now, this is inserting, not all Jews follow the Talmud. And it's supposed to be seen as an argument between the sane rabbis and the insane rabbis, not as something that you're supposed to use as teachings. But even Jews will tell you, some people go by these insane rabbis' teachings on what you can do to goyim and how you can treat them as damn near subhuman, and how you're allowed to lie, cheat, and cheat them, and you'll be all good in God's eyes, according to these rabbis.
that he treated Charlie while he was alive, only to then try to defraud the population into thinking that he is somehow a part of his legacy, that he somehow cared about Charlie Kirk and cares to protect the people that are working at Turning Point USA. Goodbye, Ben. Goodbye.
Actually,
question is, how much more money is Ben Shapiro going to spend to make people think that he's popular?
I'm about to join.
How many more articles is his father going to write under a pen name, Hank Berrien of the Daily Wire, under the pen name Hank Berrien, as he wrote while Ben was at Breitbart, before he turned his back and betrayed them too, because that is his nature. He's one of these belly creatures, sliver on.
But all right, now, you know what? F it. Let's go to one of my favorite rabbis. All right, man. Shout out this guy. This guy, man, he tells you the truth. He really spitting out here, man. Shout out to my rabbi.
Christian evangelists here in America, which almost all of them are Republicans, they're probably all going to vote for Trump, and they are very pro-Israel. They are the ones that, thanks to them, United States always been with Israel in the last few decades. If you take out Christianity out of the picture, what United States had to do with Israel? The only things they are helping us is because of religion reason. But what a lot of Jews do not know is that they're not doing it for us. They are doing it only for themselves. Make no mistake.
Yeah, because they believe that if we can get these guys to build the third temple, sacrifice the red heifer, what this they already did. And bro, check this fucking shit out. The red heifer, right? So this is wild. They genetically modify a cow to make sure it basically grows red, and that's what they call a red heifer. This cow, they bring all the way out to Israel, and they burn the cow, and the ashes they use for healing. Yes, and they're supposed to spread this ash among the temple, and now the not Antichrist, but their Messiah is now supposed to return, and with the return of the third temple. I mean, well, now with the building of the third temple. So yes, and this is what they did. They did it already. They've already sacrificed the red heifer. They've already used the ashes for healing, and spread it along where they're supposed to spread it. And now I guess we're just waiting on the Messiah. And this is what a lot of Christians want. They think that this ritual, what the Israel is doing, is going to hasten the return of Jesus. But really, they're hastening the return of the Jewish Messiah, not the Christian Messiah. And who knows who their Messiah is? And I don't want to find out, but it looks like we might if if their little animal sacrificial ritual went the right way, right? We'll figure it out soon enough.
I believe that once we will go back to the Holy Land and J.C. Penney will show up to redeem the world, he will put us all to be burned in hell. That's what they believe.
Well,
because we never accepted him and we won't accept him. So why they want to help us to take over Israel, to win against the Arabs, make sure the Jews go? Why they pay all these organizations that sponsor Aliyah? A lot of the people who made Aliyah, it's Christian money. All the airfare, it's all come from them. There's some reform rabbis who have connection with them. They get hundreds of millions of dollars donation from them.
Oh, wow.
Rabbis from Manhattan, from Texas. Why they are so generous? Why are they donating money to Israel? What do they care about Israel? The answer is because they believe the Messiah would come. They just have the wrong identity of the Messiah. That's it.
Mm.
They believe that it's actually JC. They never watch my debate with a Christian professor. They would watch it quickly. They would dump all the Christian symbols, you know where, because it would be so obvious that it's all fake.
Oh. But then, I mean, damn. The religion he calls all fake is the one that sponsors them the hardest. Ain't that crazy? Oh, no, we got more from my guy. More. Just to, drill the point in.
I always wonder how dumb this goyim sometimes can be. Like they say, you killed our God. That means he wasn't a God. How can you kill a God? Normal. How stupid you could be. You killed our God. Who was your God? JC. If it was God, we could kill him. I always wonder how dumb this.
Yeah. So, and I always do say, people say, oh, Muslims are our worst enemy. Oh my God. I'm like, bro, at least they believe Jesus is coming back like you guys. These guys completely insult his name, and y'all on their side, you give billions to them, but then you want to demify Muslims. How do y'all look right now? I just want to know. I just want to know how y'all get past that. Like, what mental gymnastics you got to do in your head to make that sound, I don't know, make it make sense, okay? What type of mental gymnastics do you do in your head to make it make sense? I want to know.
You have 6 billion idol worshippers who makes God angry every second of their life.
And that 6 billion includes Christians like you.
Indian, Chinese, Japanese, Tibet, Nepal, Thailand, so many. India alone is 500 million. China is 2 billion. So many, 2 billion Christians, which are idol worshippers. Between Chinese, Hindus, Buddhists, and Christian, at least 6.5 billion people are idol worshippers that, according to the Torah, do not have the right to live. Idol worshipper goy, it's death penalty. Not only Jews, even a goy who bow down to an idol, who believe in JC, deserve death penalty.
So when they said if you're a non-believer, when they tell you that about Muslims, projection. That sounds like some crazy projection. Oh, they'll kill you if you're a non-Muslim. I mean, bro, according to the Torah, you're supposed to die because you're a Christian. I mean, okay. Kind of sounds like there's some similarities there, but it's kind of crazy how Israel and the Jews will demify Muslims. But I mean, come on now. At least the Muslims respect Jesus. At least the Muslims respect the Mother Mary. But do they?
So why today Jews go to places that Christians make churches, because the idol worshipping of the Christians is not as bad as the idol worshipping of Nepal or India and other places, because they still believe in our God, but they believe in somebody else. It's called shituf, cooperation. When a Jew comes and reads in a book of God that Christians and Muslims admit that is the book of God, there's no debate about it. Everyone agrees, the three main religions. The point that I'm making here is, when we read in the Torah that Christians also read in their churches and Muslims also read in their schools.
Any good Christian, before Jesus showed up, who was right?
I mean, this is a belief that the Muslims and the Jews share, that there's only God and there's no Jesus Christ. He was a Messiah. Now, the Muslims actually believe he was a Messiah. He was a prophet. The Jews, they believe he was a scoundrel and he deserves to be burning in hell. So, I mean, it's kind of crazy how you guys are against the guys who actually accept his word, against the guys who, completely reject his word and hope that he's burning in hell. How do you rectify this?
Were the Jews right, or was the rest of the world right? They will tell you, Christians say, of course the Jews were right. They were God's chosen people. Up until the point they killed Jesus, they were God's people. They were correct. Christians and Muslims agree the foundations of Judaism are true. Christians and Muslims agree God revealed himself at Mount Sinai. But came along Jesus, he was the Messiah. He was God himself.
Yeah. Hopefully that's the last clip. Oh, no, it's not. One more for you. Just one more, guys. Bear with me.
It's not dreams of all kinds of Mechalelei Shabbat that had a dream all of us. Revelation. We saw what happened with the revelation of Maria. 2,000 years of suffering came to the world. Christian Inquisition, Spain, Portugal, Holocaust, pogroms, from a dream of a prostitute who cheated on her husband. That's it.
Damn.
And that 2 billion people today follow this idol.
A dream of a prostitute who cheated on her husband. And that's what he thinks of the Mother Mary. And I mean, here's the thing, guys. I'm not, like I said, bro, not all Jewish people low-key, real with you, takes that belief on like he does, but it is the foundation of their teachings. Like, they don't believe in Jesus Christ. Not all Jews believe that Jesus Christ was just this scoundrel, but you kind of take the same position as the Muslims. Like, bro, he's not this scoundrel, but he's not the son of God. Now, Christians over here be like, no, he is the son of God. He is the way through God. He is the word, and, of course, and all that good stuff. So there's the gripe right there. There's the main gripe. And I always do say, if you want to sit there and bash Islam all day, which I wouldn't suggest you do, then, I hope you sit there and do the same thing to Judaism. If not, you're scared. And I'm gonna be real with you, you lack testicle fortitude. Because if you're going to call out one, please call out the other. I'm just saying, if you're going to call out one, call out the other. If you're going to call out the pedophilic actions in the Quran, well, you better call that out in the Talmud. Be fair. But let's get back to it.
More is his nature. He's one of these belly creatures, sliver on. The question is, how many more weeks and years do we have to keep pretending like Ben Shapiro is relevant?
Crying.
It's an open-ended question. Of course, what followed Ben Shapiro on stage is somebody who Charlie Kirk loved very much and who he fought for to the very end against the...
And shout out my man Chad for sending the laughing disco, and JB2 for sending 100 jewels. Appreciate the support, guys.
Jewish donors who were pressuring him, some of them because Ben Shapiro insisted that they do. Take a listen to what Tucker Carlson had to say when he hit the stage.
The prediction that, at some point when Republicans took power again, which I did everything I could, to help, and really felt that was important. I still think, I was right. But I really thought that the impulse to deplatform people, or even to use the word platform as a verb, which it's not, it's a noun, don't steal my nouns, deplatform and denounce. Why haven't you denounced somebody else? The whole Red Guard cultural revolution thing that we so hated and feared on the left, that we did everything we could to usher in a new time where you could have an actual debate. I mean, this kind of was the whole point of Charlie Kirk's public life. And I think that he died for it. I really believe that. And I know a lot about it because the last several months of Charlie's life were devoted in part to arguing about this event, in fact, this speech, in fact, my speech here, which he asked me to do earlier this year, this summer, and was immediately put under just immense pressure from people who give money to Turning Point, I would assume good people, but who wanted him to take me off the roster. And this has all become public, and the whole thing is so sad that I never talk about it, except to say Charlie stood firm in his often stated and deeply held belief that people should be able to debate, and that if you have something valid to say, if you're telling the truth, you ought to be able to explain it calmly and in detail to people who don't agree with you, and that you shouldn't immediately resort to shut up racist.
True.
That is Charlie Kirk's true legacy, and that is Charlie Kirk's true friend, just as I was and am and will continue to fight and ask questions about who killed Charlie Kirk. And to people that are at home,
not show for Israel no matter what. Too much fun.
I implore you to wake
I have
up
too much fun.
to these people who believe that they are contract lords. I challenge Black Americans to wake up to your true history, because your quarrel is not with white men, okay? Wake up to who publishes these books and keeps us warring with one another, Christians versus Christians, right? Christians versus Muslims. Wake up and learn the true history of slavery, because that wasn't exactly a white men sport, okay? Jewish people were the ones that were trading us. Jewish people were in control of the slave trade. They've buried a lot of it, but it's there and you can find it. I think all of us need to wake up to this, because it's making me absolutely sick that he is so bold that he dare sit near Charlie Kirk's chair, that he dare grace that stage when Charlie Kirk knew exactly what Ben Shapiro was and will always be. So again, on your belly, Ben Shapiro. We'll be back after a brief break. All right, you guys, when they double down on abortion, you know that we have to double down on supporting life. Through our partnership with Preborn, we can help save babies and support mothers that are in need. Every day, Preborn's clinics rescue hundreds of babies, because when a mother sees her baby on an ultrasound and